Good morning students, hope all are doing good. In the last session we have completed chapter 4, reproductive health. Today I am going to start the new lesson, chapter 5, principles of inheritance and variations. Let us start the lesson. First you should know what is meant by inheritance. It is also known as heredity. So what is inheritance or what is heredity? It's a process by which characters are transferred from one generation to next generation. That is known as inheritance. You know, you got many features from your parents. Your parents got some characters or features from grandparents or their parents. That is known as inheritance or heredity. Second term, it is variations. What is meant by variations? The difference in traits of individuals of a progeny from each other and from their parents are called variations. It means we are thinking about your siblings. Someday you can see there are some differences in your face cut or hairs, everything. There are some differences between you and your brother or sister. Someday you are getting different features from your parents. They are known as variations. Then next term, it is genetics. That what is meant by genetics? Genetics means it is a branch of science which deals with inheritance and variation. That is known as genetics. So three terms I told here. One is inheritance, second variations, third one is genetics. Inheritance means these are the characters transferred from one generation to next generation. Variation means the differences in traits of individuals of a progeny from each other and from their parents are called variations. Genetics means the branch of science which deals with inheritance and variations. Then next we are going to learn Mendel's experiment. I have written here Gregor John Mendel. He lived 1822 till 1884. He is known as father of genetics. He did many experiments. That is known as Mendel's experiment. For that, Mendel performed all his experiments with garden pea plant. He has selected pea plant. So you know what is the scientific name of pea plant? That is Pisum sativum. That is the scientific name of garden pea plant. Mendel conducted artificial pollination or cross-pollination with cross-pollination experiments using several true breeding varieties. It means he has taken 7 pairs of contrasting characters. Okay, so which are the characters? Let us see. First one is seed shape. In that, one is round shape, second wrinkled. Second one is seed color, yellow color and green color. Third is flower color, violet, white. Next pod shape, full constricted. Next pod color, green, yellow. Next flower position, axial, terminal. The next stem height, tall, dwarf. So what he did, he selected 7 characters, 7 pairs of contrasting characters of pea plant selected by Mendel for doing all these experiments. The next, let us see what is the difference between monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. Here, Gregor Mendel, he conducted artificial pollination or cross-pollination experiments in pea plant. So what is the scientific name of pea plant? Pisum sativum. What he did, he observed one trait at a time or one pair of contrasting character at a time. He hybridized plants with one pair of contrasting characters or contrasting traits. That is called monohybrid cross. Dihybrid cross means here he has taken 2 pair of contrasting characters or 2 pair of contrasting traits. Here on an example I will tell you, one pair means sometimes he will take only seed shape. Seed shape means round and wrinkled, or maybe seed color, yellow or green, or maybe flower color, violet and white. Like that he will take only one pair of contrasting trait or characters. Here he has taken 2 pairs of contrasting characters. He will take sometime, one example I will tell you, he will take round yellow seed and wrinkled green seed. Here you can see 2 characters he has taken. So that is the reason it is known as dihybrid cross. Then after monohybridization, he will be getting the seed. That seed, it grows into or develops into plant. That plant that is known as F1 generation or first filial generation. After getting the F1 generation or first filial generation, what he did by using this F1, he did self-pollination. It means F1 into F1. Like that, he did self-pollination and he will be getting, what is meant by self-pollination? Self-pollination means transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. It is happening in the same flower or it may happen in different flower of the same plant. That is called self-pollination. So, after self-pollination, this of the F1, you will be getting F2 generation. This F2 generation, it is called second filial generation. Clear? So, that is two types of monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross, and F1 generation and F2 generation. Here, as you know, Mendel's experimental plant, that is garden pea, I told the scientific name it is Pisum sativa. What we are going to see now, Mendel selected garden pea as his experimental plant. Why he has selected this plant? There are many reasons are there. I have written here. The first one is, it is an annual plant with a short life cycle. So, several generations can be studied with a short period. So, that is the first reason. Second reason is, it has perfect bisexual flowers containing both male and female parts. So, it is a bisexual flower. So, both male and female is present in the same flower. Third one is, the flowers are predominantly self-pollinating. I already told what is meant by self-pollination. It is easy to get pure line for several generations. The next fourth point is, it is easy to cross-pollinate them because pollens from one plant can be introduced to the stigma of another plant by removing the anthers. So that is the fourth reason. Fifth reason is, pea plant produces a large number of seeds in one generation. So what it produces many seeds or large number of seeds in one generation. Then sixth point is, pea plants could easily be raised, maintained and handled. So that is the another reason Mendel has selected this pea plant as an experimental plant. The last one is, a number of easily detectable contrasting characters or contrasting traits were available. So these are the reasons Mendel selected garden pea as a experimental plant. So I will repeat what are the reasons. First one is, it is an annual plant, very short life cycle. Second one is, it has bisexual flowers. Third one is, this flower, the plant will do self-pollination. Fourth one is, easy to cross-pollinate. Fifth one is, it produces large number of seeds. Sixth one is, easily be raised, maintained and handled. The last reason is, number of contrasting traits or characters were available. So these are the 7 reasons he has selected pea plant as a experimental plant. So what was Mendel's observation after he did monohybrid cross? The first one, it was, F1 progenies always resemble one of the parents and trait of other parent was not same. So always F1 resembled one of the parents, but you can see one trait of other parent, it was hiding or it was not same. Second, F2 stage. F2 stage expressed both the parental traits in the ratio, in the proportions 3:1. So F2 expressed both the parental traits in the ratio 3:1. The third point is, the contrasting traits did not show any blending or any mixing either F1 or F2 stage. So if I am telling one example, I will tell you here. If we are taking two plants, you think one is tall, one is dwarf. Here in F1 they will show only tall plant, but in F2 they will show tall and dwarf 3:1. They do not show any blending or any mixing, or they do not show any medium size plant in F1 and F2 generation. In the case of dihybrid cross, the same thing will happen. It happened, but at the same time F2 generation, the phenotypic ratio, it will be different. The proportion was 9:3:3:1. So that is the one difference from the monohybrid cross. Here we are getting 3:1, but here F2 generation we are getting phenotypic ratio, we are getting 9:3:3:1. So these were the observations. So these were, I will repeat once more. So F1 resembled one of the parent. So other parent trait it was hiding. Second, F2 expressed both the parental traits, 3:1 ratio. Third, it did not show any blending in F1A or in F2 states. Then in the case of dihybrid cross, the same thing, but the difference is F2 phenotypic ratio, it is 9:3:3:1. Now I can explain the monohybrid cross of true breeding pea plant. So here you can see now parents. This is a P generation or parental generation. You can see there are one parent is tall, TT, capital T, one parent is dwarf, small t. From both the parent, there are two traits, always gametes, we will be taking only one. So gametes, one capital T and one small t. So both will combine, we are getting F1 generation. So in the F1 generation, you can see capital T, small t, but the plant is tall. So capital T, small t means it is a tall plant. Then this tall plant, it will do self-pollination. So on selfing, what will happen, we'll see here capital T, small t into again capital T, small t. Again you can see the gametes are forming from this one capital T, small t, from second one capital T, small t. Then is going to make the F2 generation. So we have taken both the gametes in both the sides. We are going to multiply. So you can see capital T into capital T, T. Again capital T into small t, capital T, small t. Again same like small t, capital T, small t, small t. So what you can observe here you can see capital T is tall, same like capital T, small t also tall. So 1, 2, 3 tall plants, and small t is dwarf. So one dwarf plant. So what is the ratio? 1, 2, 3, 3:1. So that is the phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio is 3 tall plants and 1 dwarf plant. That is the phenotypic ratio. If you are talking about the genotypic ratio is, you can tell what phenotypic means outside outward expression. Genotypic means inside expression. That is called genotypic ratio. So here what you can see, capital T only 1. So we have written 1. Capital T, small t, there are 2. So we have written 2. Again small t, 1. So genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. So this is the genotypic ratio. So I think you understood what is the difference between phenotypic and genotypic ratio. What is the difference between phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio? Phenotypic ratio means it is the distribution of the possible outward expression of the genes. It is the distribution of the possible outward expression of the gene. But what is genotypic ratio means? It refers to the distribution of the different allelic combinations irrespective of if they are expressing the same trait phenotypically. Outside it's showing tall, but inside it's showing different. So that is the reason one is outside expression, another one is inside what it is. Okay, so that is the difference between phenotypic and genotypic ratio. So here phenotypic is 3:1, genotypic is 1:2:1. Here we can call these two homozygous. Homo means same. You can say capital T, here small t. But the other two we can call heterozygous. So here both the alleles are dominant. Here two dominant alleles. Here also two dominant alleles. But here you can see one dominant allele, but the second one is small t. That is a recessive. Here also one dominant allele, second one small t, that is recessive allele. Clear? So that is the reason it's showing dominant character. So here one is dominant, one is recessive. Here one is dominant, one is recessive. Here both are dominant. Here also both are dominant. If both are same, it is called homozygous. If both are different, it is called heterozygous. So here one is recessive, so which is dominant, that character it will come out. Okay, so here T is dominant, so tall character it will come out. Here also T is dominant, so the tall character it will come out. Small t is recessive, that character will be recessive or hidden. The next we are going to learn Mendel's laws of inheritance. There are three laws. It's very important laws. First one is law of dominance. Second one is law of segregation. Third one is law of independent assortment. Okay, let us see what are the difference between these three laws. Based on his hybridization experiments, Mendel proposed the laws of inheritance. Then, his theory was rediscovered by three scientists, Hugo de Vries of Holland, Karl Karens of Germany, and Erich von Schermach of Austria in 1901. The first one is law of dominance. That is the first law. Let us see what is law of dominance. This law states that when two alternative forms of traits or characters, you can call them genes or alleles, are present in an organism, only one factor expresses itself in F1 progeny. It is called dominant, while the other remains hidden, or it is masked. It is called recessive. So what did I say? In F1 generation we learn, we are taking two plants, tall and dwarf. We are getting capital T, small t. In the capital T is dominant, small t is recessive. So the plant will be tall plant. So that is law of dominance. One will be dominant, but the other one will be recessive. That is law of dominance. The second law, it is law of segregation. This law states that the factors or alleles of a pair segregate from each other during gamete formation, such that gamete receives only one of the two factors. Here you can see capital R, but the gamete, it gets only one R. Clear? They do not show any blending or mixing or combining things together. So for that, you can see here, I will show you one example. It is one dihybrid cross where the two parents different in two pair of contrasting traits. One is seed color, one is seed shape. So till this time we learn monohybrid cross. It means only one pair of contrasting character. But here I am going to explain two pairs of contrasting traits or characters. So we can see here parent. Parent is one is round yellow seed. Capital R, capital Y. Here you can see wrinkled green seed. Small r, small y. From that you can see second, gametes are forming. I told always one will come. During the time of gamete formation, it receives only one. Okay, so capital R, capital Y, small r, small y. Both will combine. We will be getting F1 generation. First filial generation, that is capital R, capital Y, small r, small y. But it is round yellow because just before I told capital R is dominant, small r is recessive. So it's showing round. Capital Y, small y. Capital Y is dominant, small y is recessive. So that is yellow. So round yellow we got in F1 generation. The next, the same plant, self-pollination or on-selfing or self-pollination is doing. So you can see both the side. Again from this, you will be getting capital R gametes. These are the gametes. Capital R, capital Y, capital R, small y. Small r, capital Y, small r, small y. Okay, the same gametes in the other side also. Then each one we are going to multiply. So we are getting this many progenies. So in the phenotypic ratio, it shows 9:3:3:1. That is a F2 generation. I told what is the difference between phenotypic and outward expression. That is phenotypic ratio. Then genotypic ratio, it is the internal expression. So phenotypic ratio, it is round yellow. That is the parent you can see here. Again you can see wrinkled green. That is also here in parent. But again in between you can see another some mixed combinations here. Okay. So what is the ratio? 9:3:3:1. 9 round yellow, 3 round green, 3 wrinkled yellow, 1 wrinkled green. But if you are going to genotypic ratio, you will be getting 1:2, 2:2, 2:2, 4:1, 1:2, 2:2, 1:2, 2:1. You have to see each one, each allele. Here if you are seeing one example, I will tell you if you are capital R, capital Y, capital Y. You can see only one here. See, no other. So I am writing here 1. If you are taking capital R, small r, capital Y, you can see here 1, here also you can see one more. So there are 2. So that is 2. So genotypic, internally how it looks, but phenotypic means outward expression. Why it is outward expressing different? Because I told one is dominant. Here I told one is dominant, one is recessive. So always the dominant character it will come out. Recessive character it is hidden. Okay, so that is the reason we are getting different ratios here. The third law, it is law of independent assortment. If you are breaking that words, you will get independent means its own. Assortment means segregation. Here what is saying? The genes located on different chromosomes assort independently, resulting into recombinations or mixing of characters. Okay. The second point is Mendel considered, just now I told how we can do the dihybrid cross, monohybrid and dihybrid. Just now I explained what is dihybrid cross. They are taking two pairs of contrasting characters. So he considered two characters for the dihybrid cross. One is seed color, yellow or green. Second is seed shape, round and wrinkled. Then in the F1 hybrid, here he got capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. It means hybrid is yellow, round in nature. Clear? So according to this law, the two factors of each character assort or separate out independent of the factors of other characters at the time of gamete formation and get randomly rearranged in the offsprings, producing both parental and new combinations of characters. If I am saying one example, I will tell you, suppose you have two siblings. Suppose your father is very white color and white skin and straight hair. Mother is curly hair and dark color. But not even one sibling or your child will not get the same characters of the father. Always they will be getting the mixing of qualities. Okay, combinations. They will be getting characters from the few characters from father and few characters from mother. So mixing of characters or mixing of qualities. That is called this law of independent assortment. So what it is? The genes located on different chromosomes assort independently, resulting into recombinations. That is called the law of independent assortment. Here we are going to learn what is meant by incomplete dominance. Okay, so before we learn dominant character and recessive character, here I am talking the dominant character, it is incomplete, it is not complete. Why it is called incomplete dominance? Let us see. It is a phenomenon in which the F1 hybrid exhibits characters intermediate of the parental genes. What did I say? F1 hybrid exhibits characters intermediate of the parental genes. One example I will tell you. Suppose you can take one 4 o'clock plant. Its a scientific name, it is Mirabilis jalapa. Here you are taking one red color flower. It is due to the gene capital R, and white color is due to gene small r. And in the F1 generation you are getting capital R, small r, that is pink in color. So that F1 generation it will be pink color. It is due to gene capital R, small r. Okay, you can see here. I told you these are the parents. Red color, red flower and white flower. Red flower, capital R, dominant characters. Here also small r. You are getting the gametes. From here capital R, here small r. You will be getting F1 generation, that is capital R, small r. But this will not be red. This will be all pink. That is called incomplete dominance. So here I can explain to you, if you are doing monohybrid cross in 4 o'clock plant or snapdragon, where one allele is incompletely dominant over the other allele. You can see here parent, just now I told, red flower 2 capital R's, white flower 2 small r. Gametes capital R, small r. You will be getting capital R and small r, but it is not red color or red flower, it is all pink. Again we are taking this pink plant and we are doing self-pollination. So what will form here? Capital R small r into capital R small r. Here gametes are forming. You can see from the first one 2 gametes capital R small r, and from the second one again 1 capital R small r. These are the gametes. We are going to make F2 generation. Here these are the acting as a parent. We are going to multiply each other. So capital R, small r, capital R, here capital R, small r, here also capital R, small r, here small r. So these two capitals will be red, 2 small r will be white, but here capital R heterozygous. These two are homozygous, these two heterozygous, they are pink. They are not, before we learned that will be red, but here it is pink in color. That is called incomplete dominance. Okay, so if you are writing the phenotypic ratio, you can see what is the phenotypic ratio: 1 red, 2 pink and 3 white. Outward expression, that is the phenotypic ratio. So 1:2, 2:1. If you are taking genotypic ratio, inward expression, what is it? Here capital R 1, capital R small r 2, small r 1. So that is the genotypic ratio. So 1:2, 2:1. So in this case, both it is same. Clear? So that is called incomplete dominance. In this session we have completed principles of inheritance and variations, Mendel's experimental plant, Mendel's laws of inheritance, incomplete dominance. So in the next class I will be teaching codominance, S-cross, polygenic inheritance, chromosomal theory of inheritance, linkage and recombination, sex determination mechanism. Thank you, students.